Hello there! Welcome back to Charles Circle, and welcome back to Anno 117. Last time, we rearranged our capital island using what we've learned about building adjacencies so far. We also upgraded to the very beginnings of the final population tier of Patricians. Now we've still got plenty left to explore despite this being the final population tier, because Patricians have the most complicated set of needs that we've seen so far, and we haven't checked the box on any of them. It also feels like we've barely scratched the surface on Albion. Those are the two things I want to push on the hardest today. We also haven't even touched the land military combat and have barely had any sort of naval conflict with pirates, so we're barely starting out in that area too, really. So let's get back into it. Now, the first thing I want to do is set up mosaic production, which is the Patrician associated construction material that we'll need for their advanced buildings. So, in order to create these, we're going to need clay, which we already have on this island, and we'll need to add another river slot where we collect more of that, and we'll need minerals. Now, minerals we don't have the fertility for, or the deposits for, on this island, but we already have a solution for that. Over here in Alba Luna, this is where we are collecting our existing minerals and sending them back via a trade route that already has a little bit of extra space on it. So I think the simplest thing to do here would be to add ourselves another little limestone quarry, and we will place a warehouse, call it here, I suppose, and connect it back to the rest of this city, maybe like so, and to here, maybe like that, because I'm a little bit of a compulsive person. I'm going to make it nice and tidy like that. Brilliant. Now we are, as a result, short on plebes, so go ahead and upgrade those. And you know what, while we're here, these folks deserve some city services. Give them a sanctuary. And that should give them some local belief as well. And eventually, this should tick up to allow us to build shrines here once our population gets up a little bit higher. Why don't we, while we're at it, also provide a grammaticus? Why not? A little bit of extra knowledge can't hurt, right? So, all right. That extra bit of minerals should come back over here. We'll need to add another crusher in this area in order to, well, I guess to crush the minerals, really, right? Then we'll need one more clay pit, I believe. Let's double check our production here. Actually, we still have maybe what we need. Let's get the mosaic producer, which trades fire safety for prestige, which feels like a good fit in an industrial area, potentially like up here, what we already have started, but I think maybe even better would be over here. Now, I don't mind if this catches a little bit of our residential area, because hey, it's prestige. But I think we're going to turn this into also sort of a riverside industrial area in the longer run too, move these farms out over that way. So let's go ahead and get this built. Still needs more marble. I do have a feeling we're going to need to place another charcoal burner in order to supply that. So let's do, say, that, along with a warehouse, I don't know, here. Connect it out like so. And hopefully we'll have ourselves some marble in a moment. How are we? Because we're also bringing over our marble quarry, or our raw marble, rather, from Alba Luna as well. And if you, by the way, press Control, you can select multiple islands. And so I can see here that, yes, we are in fact generating in Alba Luna 2 uncut marble and transporting it back. So we should have enough here for our marble needs, but in fact, maybe we should even place another one of these marble masons. Area effect, prestige at the expense of health. We have plenty of health, so I think maybe we'll do another one of these. I don't remember where we put the first one, or if it even matters. Is it up here? Maybe they can stack anyway. Let's just say here for now. All right, good. So let's get that built, and then this in a moment once the marble trickles in. Hopefully that should speed up soon. So while we're waiting for that to go, I can mention real quick, I queued up a couple researches. The first is the trireme. I'm kind of tired of our smaller boats. We need bigger boats now, especially as we think about running longer trade routes from Albion to Latium and back. We'll need a bigger, faster boat in order to run that more efficiently. Our small ones are fine for local trade routes, but we need to do better there. And I've seen a lot of bigger warships bouncing around, and I do not want to be behind. So we're grabbing that. Then we're also grabbing a charcoal fuel efficiency tech, which should reduce our need to keep slapping down charcoal burners the way that we just had to. And then I'm grabbing the watchtowers in order to be able to slot down some happiness boosts. These, I think, will help us offset the increasing issue we have here with island happiness. So that's the research pitch for a moment. And I think we should zip over to Albion while we wait for that marble to roll in then. Feels like it's been a minute since we've been out here. So let's push a little bit further here. I think the first thing we should do, we don't even have a villa here. Let's get a villa. Get that slapped down.
Always bribe your own gods before someone else does it.
That's a great pro tip there. Okay, so we have a villa. That's good. But in order to progress much further here, we need... What is a gubbin? Interesting. We want to get brooches and send brooches back to our population in Latium. In order to do that, we'll have to get the silver supply chain going, but in order to do that, we're going to need more mercators. So, it's time to upgrade. Let's just do a whole bunch of them, I guess. Hey, and because we've hit some sort of milestone, we're getting another 5 reputation with the Emperor, who likes that we've gone into the Romanization path. We've unlocked some more goods here. We're familiar with these. The Grammaticus is a 1-to-1 building we have back in Latium. The Phantom seems to be a building we can build here only that gives both belief and knowledge, which is, I think as we mentioned last time, not a combination that you see elsewhere, which is kind of cool. So let's see, maybe call it here, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe up here. I'm thinking our population is going to expand around the villa, so I guess we'll do like that. Cool. So in order to get these brooches, we still need to get up to 200. So wouldn't you know it, it's going to be more. We are, of course, also going to need to backfill all of the waiters we just promoted. So let's do that and that. Oh, what the heck. Let's just keep going, right? There we go. The city status is improving. I think we are probably going to need to improve also our consumer good productions here. Yep, so tunics is going to need to double up, eels, cockerels, and reed shoes. I actually think reed shoes... Okay, good. So we actually have the reeds for it. We just need another reed shoe maker. And we have one of them over here already, it seems. Yes, that's right. What I might do is, I'm thinking to myself, we're going to need a warehouse by, this will be our first silver mine, I think. So let's just go ahead and make this into a sort of warehouse supplying district, since we're also going to want a spinner out here. I suppose we're going to need a hemp farm here too. Guess we could slap that down over in this area. That's where we have the other one, it seems. So let's do that. And probably need another one of these cockle pickers. Connect it up by a road. And I think, no, we need the eel grabber again, and then that will be all of our productions doubled up here. Is that correct? I think we're all right. Everything that we've chosen to supply, at least. Everything else will have to wait. But I think...
on my lingua romana and that there grammaticus.
Still short 30. These are still coming in. And in fact, okay, so these are still in range. But I think we will let these... can't do both. I think we'll let these trickle in a little bit here. We're probably going to need one more set of blocks here. So I'm willing to slap that down and come back to it in a moment. Let's go back to Latium and see if that marble is here. And it is in time to... What the heck are we going to do with it? We were going to get our mosaic production. Brilliant. Now in order to actually staff that, of course, we'll need to do some upgrading here. And what the heck, why not? We've got plenty of equities. Push them up into the patrician level as quickly as we can afford the marble. What else can we do for them? So we don't have enough yet to unlock the temple and library buildings. We could get oysters with caviar up and running. Probably a good idea. So these sturgeon hatcheries are river slots here. And then we have to gut the fish, I guess, and this is a 2-to-1 ratio. This does not have a negative area effect. I might have guessed that it would, but I would be wrong. And then over here, also 2-to-1 is the oysters, which we do have the fertility for here, which we'll build in the harbor area. And then we can get one of these kitchens down as our mosaics finally trickle in. So, okay, great. Let's get 2 sturgeons going, I suppose. Maybe...
Fire has started in your city.
Oh, great. Fire. Very nice. Let's say... Well, let's connect up the road first. Maybe like this. And the warehouse there to go along with it. Where's this fire? No, come on. How's that not in the notification history? That's over here. So, are these guys going to do anything about it? Hopefully. Somebody? Anybody? Please? Yikes. Well, we have a lot of concrete. Maybe what we should do is upgrade the roads so that their range extends a bit further, huh? Seems like a thing we could have done before this, but are happy to do now at least. Kind of want to move this over so that the road can extend. Yep, there we go. And particularly like so. Probably out here as well. Yeah, you know, with all this concrete, we might as well, right? It takes a decent amount, but we have a decent amount as well, so... And you know what? In fact, why don't we start doing that in earnest here? This will help spread our public services range as well, helping the same buildings do more for us. Non-aggression pact, sure, I can do that for now. Trireme research, very good. Alright, so I think the first thing we'll do is build a longer range trading vessel. And will we add oarsmen again? I think we will. No, because this leaves more spots for cargo, which is probably more important here. Yeah, okay. So let's do that. We're going to make a trading vessel first for the brooches, which we still need to set up. And then from there, honestly, I think we are going to build a couple of these military focus boats. I'm just seeing more pirates around and I have concerns. So let's queue up 2 of those. And we won't think about it for a while and hope for the best. Always a good strategy. All right, what else do we need to do? We just did our sturgeons. We are still working on the caviar supply chain here, so we'll need a pair of oysters. Here and here, I suppose. Good enough. I don't want you to have to go all the way out there, though, so let's get a warehouse here. Should help all of these be a little bit more efficient. And then we do need 1 fish gutter. Small building, no area effect. Very interesting. But it's showing a road connection. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know why it would show that if it didn't have an area effect, but it's not advertising one, so I guess we just have to assume that there isn't until proven otherwise, so it goes there now.
In one of your cities.
More patricians required. Not a problem. We have the marble, so that's good news. Let's just say, how about these blocks? Wrap them up. We can keep upgrading here as well, I would say. Probably worth doing. Try to get our balance up a little bit higher where possible. And hey, I think we've just upgraded, or unlocked now, the public service buildings for the patricians. Temple or library, or library. Temple, unsurprisingly, lots of belief, decent chunk of population. And library, unsurprisingly, a lot of knowledge, some prestige, and some fire safety malice, I guess, because books are flammable? Sure. Oh, wow. 60k? 30 marble, 15 mosaics. Oh, but it's a very big building with a very big range. Interesting. I think we're going to blueprint that. We still have another research going. Let's blueprint this here. Because it can do the whole dang island, nearly. Not quite. I'm exaggerating, but not by a lot. And then same thing with the library? Yeah, feels that way. Okay. I think we're going to prioritize the temple, at least to start. Definitely going to build both. But I feel like we're kind of hauling through the research. I think we've been pretty intentional about that, but maybe to the point it's not as helpful as it maybe could be. Like this generation amount is enough to unlock entire further rings here, but we haven't done all the actual progression, right? Like we have to go store 150 charcoal or whatever. So I think our knowledge is a little bit out ahead of our actual economic development. So anyway, all that to say, I'm not going to prioritize further knowledge quite yet. But we'll try to build this temple. I don't know. It's going to take a while to accumulate this, but it'd be nice to get that up and running for sure. Cool. Well, anyway, so Mosaic is up and running. Oysters with caviar, I think, is up and running. Or at least... No, do we still need the actual oyster building itself, right? Yeah, we haven't built this yet. Okay, no problem. Let's do that. Do we want it in here? Population and health. So we probably want it in this core. Yeah, and I think what we're gonna do. All right, so here's how I'm thinking about this. These buildings right here, the market and the tavern, right? Their range runs out up here. We're gonna have to set another pair up this way. I'm kind of thinking maybe we should just move these over here, have them get this area, and then put another set up here, which would open up this central location. It's not incredibly efficient because these ranges are okay. That's why we put them there in the first place, but I think it'll be better, a better use of space, because this will reach a lot of our highly tiered population. So let's give that a shot and make sure that these buildings still have the range that they need to get this set. They do. And let's get another copy of them up here. And here. Tidy this up in the future, I'm sure, he said, lying to himself and his viewers for the 40th time on that front. I always want to come back and clean up, and then I get distracted with whatever the new shiny thing is. What are you gonna do? That's life. Okay, but this is good. I think we should have what we need here. We'll have to come back once it is all up and running, but I think the pieces are there and it should load itself. So I would say back to Albion for a moment at least. See if we can't push a little bit further here. I would love to get the silver mine up and running, so yeah, yikes, need more waiters so that we can upgrade them further. So, no problem. I guess we're just gonna keep copy pasting city blocks here. Is there a better spot for us to be expanding? I suppose we could also go out this direction. Sort of looking at our public service buildings. This is here. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's maybe do down this way first. Something like that, along with here. I've recently discovered that if you hover over a building with the road tool, it'll just do everything on the outside. It's not always exactly what you want it to be, but it's usually pretty close, which is nice. My new favorite discovery for building. All right, so that's a few more, which should allow us to upgrade a little further. There we go. Brooches. So that means a silver mine. So brooches, right, we supply here. This is a need for our tier 2 mercators, but we can send the excess back to Latium as well. It is something that our people there will be happy to consume. Soap, it seems we have to produce in Latium still, so I don't see lavender fertility, which is what had to go into it, even if we can do the pigs part. So we're probably just going to supply brooches here, at least in the short term. But we need to set up the silver mine and brooches supply chain. So let's do that. So it starts with the silver mine, no surprise, but let's see the ratios. So a silver mine can do 2 silver forges, and a silver forge can do 2 fibulari. So 1 to 2 to 4. It seems plus some charcoal will be necessary for sure. So I would say let's just build the whole thing right away. This is just a fire safety malice. This has at least an area effect that is positive. So I would say we should push the fire safety malice buildings out here. Yeah, I think that's probably right. Here maybe. Yeah, there you go. Let's say 2 of those. But then these we will try to do in here, even if it does absolutely have some fire safety concerns. It also has income and population. We can do 4 of these. Shall we say that's near a warehouse, right? So I think maybe that corner is good. This is the only set we haven't yet gotten. So maybe I will delete just this segment here. Can we get a warehouse and in? No, I don't think so. It's too bad. All right, well then, still need that road. We should get 2 more of these and maybe we just won't worry about the area effect so much. I mean, what are we missing out on? It's really not that much. Or we could just actually just move these, because who cares about sawmills? Bam. So get this in here. Yeah. Probably 1 here and 1 here. This one's the only one that actually matters for the area of effect, but we need all of these, really, to supply our full supply chain here, which I think we have, but let's just be sure. So on the raw material side, perfect. Consumption balanced on the silver. Intermediate goods, 2, and when that fills, that will also be 2. Potential is 2 to 2 matched up. And then the brooches, we're going to have a pretty good excess rate. So once that trireme's built, we should be able to send it over here for the excess, which is great. A festival can be hosted. Morgar. Cool. So we can pay 5k and hope for, ooh, bakeries, vintners, and breweries, none of which we have on Morgar. So this is basically just purchasing a specialist, unfortunately. I mean, specialist could be good. Do we want to roll the dice for 5k on a specialist? Or maybe this pushes us to finally get the bakery set up. Let's do it. Practitioner. What does a practitioner do? Let's find out. Available patrols for Medici, which is deeply unhelpful for us because we don't have any Medici out here. We probably want to send this back home, frankly, to Latium. Well, that's a bummer. Maybe we'll set up bread. We can do all of this here, right? And they do want it. Population and income. So, sure, right? So let's get a bakery in here. Actually, here. How much do they actually want? Just 1 for now. Let's set up 2. If we're gonna go through the trouble, you know? So we'll say 1 here. 1 here. Which means we need 1 donkey mill. Oh, cool. And these do not take a river slide here, which is great. So these are 1 to 1. So we just need 2. Oh my gosh. And brilliant. Look at this. They fit so nicely. Let's say here and here, and then we just need to get 2 fields. Cool. Okay. Very good. Where should we put these fields? Maybe just out here, huh? Or right next to a warehouse, so I suppose there's that. Let's get a field to sort of fill in the gaps here, you know? Do like to use fields for that. They make good use of otherwise unhelpful space. Now we still need to be able to access this mountain slot here, so we'll make sure to leave a little bit of room there. But I think we can probably get away with that. And let's say Also, this. I think so. Seems good to me. Let that go there. How is our fuel consumption here now? Not good, but easily fixed. We just need to get another charcoal burner up and running. Preferably not overlapping with our housing. So if we say here, with a warehouse across the street, because it's not knocking any trees over, that shouldn't do anything to the fertility. All right, so hopefully the bakery being here will improve our coins enough to pay back that festival. 5k, who cares? But yeah, pretty worthless specialist, unfortunately. So now we have research, which we can continue to advance here. Why not grab that? Reduction to our warehouse workforce and upkeep costs. Those are things that we are definitely making lots of. So it'd be nice if it could passively cost less, right? So we'll do the same thing here for the watch and firefighting. Same thing, meaning simply same philosophical approach of, well, we need it anyway. Why don't we make something we've got a bunch of already stronger passively? Minor megalopolis? Is that what that was? That's cool. Let's upgrade, I guess, some more then. So I would say we can probably get this whole block up. Maybe all of these? Is that crazy? I don't think we have the, yeah, we don't have the marble for that. Oh, you know what else we should do actually before we even do that? Perfect, so we have these watchtowers. Minus 200. Let's see what we can do here. Brilliant, they're tiny. So we're just gonna make a bunch of these. Just hope that we can crank up the happiness here a little bit. I like these little buildings that fit nicely into the otherwise dead space of your town. I feel like that's a very satisfying design. This aqueduct, however, is definitely not satisfying. Well, we don't have to get too far. We could say maybe, seems like a good one. How about, oh, I don't know, here? Maybe also here. Nice. You know what, just for aesthetics, I think we have to have it flanking the governor's villa. And that gets us back to 0 more or less. You don't have to have every single house covered, but the more that you do, boom, positive. Cool, easy enough. Great, so that's nice. Mosaics continue to chip in. The cash is slowly rolling in, which I think means it's probably time to do some more upgrading. So I would say, like, we have quite an excess now of Libertas. Very good to have. But I think we can turn them into better, higher tax-paying citizens. So let's crank that up. And
One
now,
of
of
your
course,
cities is at risk of a great fire.
low fire safety. Is this just a warning?
One of your cities is at risk of a great fire.
Wow, it sure is, huh? So the bakeries. I'll get you every time. Okay, so that's a fair point though. Let's do something about that. So how about a well or 6? Seems like a good call. Alright, I think everyone more or less has a well now. That won't really justify itself. It would be really nice to have, you know, the Vigilies here, but we don't have the next city status quite yet. which seems quite rude that they would suggest we could get a fire before we can have firefighters, but, you know, it is what it is, I suppose. We'll get up there in relatively short order. And in fact, we could try to make it shorter order by upgrading, potentially. At least a few. Well, need a couple more. So, fine. We'll leave this for now and hope for the best. The brooches rolling in might help with...
One of your cities is at risk of a great...
Yes, thank you.
We'll need to expand the villa to accommodate our new specialist.
Right, yeah, but it's not on this island, and also no we don't, because it's here. But, thank you. Is this a tutorial on guest house? Yeah, this is just the officium tutorial. Great, thanks, much appreciated. We will ignore it for now, I think, but that's okay. What else should we do? We are capped on concrete, so I definitely want to keep paving. I would say probably this whole area, right? Extend these, the range of these buildings would be good.
Why are your citizens so unfailingly cheerful? Is it because you offer games, luxury, baths, and a holiday every other day? What is the secret of your happiness?
Couple dozen watchtowers is the secret of our happiness. I don't know that that's what you're looking to hear, lady, but that is what is true. Really burned through the concrete there, but that is what it's there for. And hopefully that helps out with a lot of our city service range. I think that's probably worth doing too. All right, cool. I have annihilated our concrete stocks. All good. How is our general consumer good production here? We are still in the positive on... Oh, we need more tunics. We're close on hats. We need to double soap production. Everything else and amphora is okay. All right, let's do soap production real quick. That's an easy one. It's one of these. Probably out here. Yeah, that'll work. And then 2 lavender growers, probably out in this area. Yeah. Here. To keep that open, I guess. But I suppose we can fill all of this in. Do you think we can still sneak a road in here? That's sort of what I'm wondering. It would be nice, because that's the warehouse I'm thinking we'll use, but if it's not,
Construction of a ship has finished.
then so be it, and we will fill in here. Yeah. Alright, so there's that. Naturally, of course, that requires more Libertus, and we did not provide it, so whoops. The other thing we could do... Alright, so I was thinking about this. We unlocked a tech where the aqueduct could actually improve the throughput of farms. I don't think we want to spend the money, and I just burned all of our concrete. But we could run an aqueduct down this way, or maybe we could move our farms up that way. Something to think about if we end up with farming productivity issues. But I think that's good on lavender, which means we just need the pig side of the business here. We'll need a second pigsty. That's what that's called. call it here. 5 of those, and then a renderer. Guess we'll also do here. Sure, why not, right? The other one we have is in the other industry area, but that is fine, I think. We okay on charcoal on this island? We are. That 20% boost is doing some work there. It's actually responsible for us being more than just perfectly even. Very good. All right, so then what we need to do next is to adjust this area and add a few more liberatus. No problem. So I think I am going to try to make this a bit tidier. Let's move these here. And then use this as like a rotation point to mirror the aqueducts transition in this area. That's too bad. It's very annoying. Okay, no worries. More importantly, we can do this. And let's pivot to having them oriented like so. And maybe just go ahead and slap down one more here. And I think maybe we'll save this space for like public service stuff as well. We'll see how this area shapes up. But as a reminder, we're just going to kind of wrap this same exact sort of interspersed layout all the way around as we grow. That's the plan. We've got a ton of extra plebes though, so maybe we'll try to upgrade them as well. But we can do all of that, do you think? Sure can. Which means, do you think we can do all of this? Sure can. Cool. Very nice. I think that will do for now. Let's check our shipbuilding. Good. So we have our, so this is our military trireme, our flagship. And this is our transport trireme, or call it an economic trireme, I suppose. Let's get him on a new trade route from our main island in Albion. Loading up, I would say for now, just brooches. But we'll probably add stuff to this trade route eventually. Come back to Latium. Yep. And unload it. Cool. Well, that's great. That's our first transatlantic, our first cross-province trade route. And in fact, I think that just unlocked an entire research node, which we should take a look at in a moment here. Well, I guess it's been a moment. Let's take a look at it. That would be, where is it that we've just unlocked? Is it down here? Albionic, it feels like it should be over here, right? It is, it's this. So what's out this way? Woodcutters can use meadows. Is that true everywhere or just in Albion? It looks like it's true everywhere. That's what that, hopefully that little, over here, I can't make him stay, but what that worldwide, global thing looks like, hopefully. Albionic water, governor villa, waiter workforce. Yeah. Oh, hydraulics. A mine boost via aqueducts, but an aqueduct costs a mine slot, so I'm not sure if that makes sense. But that's cool. Water supply, 50% increase. All islands iron deposit increase. Okay, so there's some good stuff in here. Ah, and here's the drainage channel. So this is how you get rid of marshes, it seems. Okay, cool. So that's a whole bunch of good stuff. And there's other, yeah, so if we accumulate drained marshland and or open up a bunch of mines, we can go even further into exploitation in that space too. Cool. I'm like starting to get my head around the logic of these tech tree chunks. They're gated not just obviously on knowledge generation, but on these milestones that you accomplish. So the further you go into an area, the further you unlock the ability to specialize further into it. Decent design. Would really love to get this temple built, but my gosh. 60k. Like, we're going to be fine on the marble and the mosaics, but it's the 60k coin that is quite a bit. Maybe we should stop buying. Yeah, in fact, that's probably a good idea. Let's just... Well, we're saying sell. What are we saying to buy? I think it's probably just construction materials, right? Yeah, that's what it is. Alright, well, considering how much I'm just crushing our concrete supply right now, I think we're going to simply say no more buying of construction materials for now. But since we did already buy them, maybe we should try the aqueduct. Are aqueducts expensive to build? Not terribly. Well, let's just do it. I kind of want to see how it works. Okay. And so how does this... All right, so it gives... Interesting. So the cistern itself still costs 10 because it's providing health and fire safety, I guess, to buildings in the area, which is good. These actually could use them, I think, particularly. But then there's an additional drain for all of the farms that are within range. Cool. But then it produces something more than 100%, so it's still ticking up. I guess what we could do is check and see how much these are going up. Looks like maybe 50%. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Which is good because I think we need another spinner. And we now have the hemp for it, even though we didn't add any more of those buildings. So let's get another spinner. It looks like up here is probably where our next one should go. Place it next to that warehouse. Very convenient. Or are we on other productions here? I think we probably identified some stuff we forgot to adjust to last time. The Peleus, the hats, and we still have a couple extra sheep for that, so sure. Let's do that as well. Same area would be helpful, I am sure. Why not? And then still good on fish, wine, oysters with caviar, soap, shoes, togas, books, glass, and foray is the other one that we could work on. Probably just doubling, just to be safe. So we'll need another potter. Income fire safety. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think we're just gonna keep making this spot for that. And then, so we are gonna need another clay. That's all right. A river deposit. I mean, here seems fine. So let's do that. We can even just run this out there. That's close enough that I'm not going to stress about it. The resin, we still need to make sure that we get from our other island. So let's do the old trick here. So we consume 2 on this island, but we, is that on Apricus? Okay, we still make 4 over there, so that should be fine. We should be good on resin, which means we should be good on empore. Good. So I think that's enough on consumer updates, which means we can immediately throw ourselves back out of whack by upgrading some more. So let's do that. How about these odd buildings here? Maybe finish off the Libertas over here. Perfect, and now we have to add more. Maybe I will just copy paste this block here too. Hey, look at that. I don't know what that is. That is the next tier for Patricians. That's what it is. Necklaces. Good coin. Very good coin. Or cloaks and cloaks. Cloaks we have to make in Albion, but give a pretty good spread of a bunch of different things. All right, cool. What do their supply chains look like?
Construction of a ship has finished.
So minerals again, plus gold, which we haven't yet processed. And don't have on this island. Do we have it on any other islands? I kind of forget. Nothing we've settled yet. Okay. Do others have it? Yeah, they do. So it is here in Latium. All right, good to know. So that has to get smelted and then mashed together with some minerals into jewels. Great. And then over here, yeah, it looks like this all more or less has to be done in the other province. But I think we can do sheep over there too. So the whole thing will be assembled on the other side of town in Albion. Cool. Well, I doubt we'll tackle that right away. Also need some more Libertas.
For everything, if you're desperate enough.
Maybe we, yeah, I think have to keep pushing out this way with our expansion. So let's do that. Do you think we'll probably have to add some more public service buildings here because I don't think they quite stretch out this way. Not so much. But if it's just for the Libertas, we have a little bit of time to get there, a little breathing room, so to speak. You know what I'm looking at is our fire safety, and we kind of don't have any coverage out this way, so it'd be worth, I think, adding something here. Maybe just here. But we could also get a well or three snuck in potentially as well. And why not get ourselves some more happiness too with a watchtower. That's a little excessive. All right, good. So these numbers are all acceptable, I think. And this is up over 2K. That feels pretty good. We're in the middle of a celebration, I think, that's boosting that, right, in Albion, but we'll take it. And then we have a half respectable looking navy over here.
We stand waiting.
So that's good news. I think this means we can send more plebes up to Equites and so on and so forth. So let's do it. Maybe this area? I feel like that's a sufficient buffer, and then let's get some more plebes? Plebes. Patricians. The good ones. And that's it on marble for now. Yep. Cool. So hopefully that keeps ticking up. I mean, you can see as they grow into it that they are very much the level of population that will crank our taxes up for us, which is quite good. All right. I'm going to let time sort of spin for a second, but I'm also going to head on back over to
We need
Albion and check on
expand the
things
villa to
here.
accommodate our new specialist.
Indeed.
One of your cities is at risk of a great fire.
Like, we can just put this here, it just doesn't...
Stick your tongue out and say ah.
I know you want me to place this, but I'm not going to. What we can do over here... Oh, that's back in Latium, I think, as well. Yeah, you know what? Let's go check that out. Because I think this is coming along just fine over here. For now, I think our first... Did our first trade route come over? That's a good question. Do we have brooches in here? Not yet. Let's check. Over this way? No, it should just be this one. So, where are you? Julia Avita? Can we maybe just pull up our ship menu, I suppose? Julia Avita. The heck are you? It must just be en route. That's fine. Actually, does the province map show us? Open world map. Oh, this is cool. I haven't seen this view before. Nice. So this is, right, obviously this is Europe. We're in Italy, Spain, the Gauls, of course Albion. Neat. I wonder what they're going to do longer term. I mean, this is just like, they set this up for DLC, right? Egypt's an interesting spot. Carthage, probably. Greece. The steppes. The Vikings. Ton of cool options here. Very curious what they end up doing. I think there's generally like a pretty modular, expandable base in this game. I think they were intentional about setting this up to be something with a long, easy to expand future, which, not a shock. Not at all, but still cool. But you can see the vision, I think. So chair makers. Interesting. So this is cushion stuffers, so we need sheep and dye. We've got dye already, we know what that's about. And more sandarak, okay. And then on the hand mirrors side, it looks like this is, yeah, this all has to be done in Albion as well. Okay, well that's not a problem. We've got silver set up out there already. Right? Because that's the first step, so we don't even really need all those brooches. We could pause some of that and then go into the Narcissium. Nice Narcissus. It's a mirror. Yeah, that's cool. That makes sense. Love when I accidentally discover the Latin root of a word. Alright, well, I think we're just going to let this tick up over so we can build this temple. But maybe we'll do just one last round of upgrades while we wait for that. Although I suppose we should save some of the material. Yeah, we're going to need, I think, some marble for that too. Okay. Maybe. Nah. We'll let that go. Okay. Checking on our other islands here. This is another island where I think it could make sense for us to add an aqueduct to feed some of the farm productivity. Not quite yet, but that will help us get more bang for our buck on this island. It's a small island and it has important agricultural fertilities for us, so it'll be good to max this out for sure. And then over here, this one, this is just a cool island. I think we're going to end up building this up into more of a city, even, in the longer run. It's got what we need from a, resource extraction perspective, but it also just has a ton of space. And I could see us moving certain industries over here as well. So this then will be, yep, we need a medicus. Medici, sorry. Which we can place wherever, I suppose. This is a terrible spot in the corner for coverage, but at the same time, maybe we'll do, we'll just do 2. One here, one here. And the rest will have to take care of itself. And that's all right. I really just want to get this this temple built here before we call it an episode, which I think is doable in just a short moment, especially if I were to try to buy some marble. Let's say buy when under, well, we need 30, so that'll be the move, I guess. Do you think they'll sell us the marble we need? No guarantee this boat does, I suppose, but they could. They did not. But they got us pretty close. Come on, come on, come on. I do love the range on this building, though. My gosh, it's going to get the entire island. And there it is. Pretty building. Oh, and how cool is that? I think it's dynamically understood what our island's deity is, right? Because that's Ceres. And I doubt that's a coincidence. I bet this is different if you have Mars, Neptune, whatever. These look like grains. Maybe they're statues of other stuff. That's cool. I like that idea. Nice. Yeah, I like the monument architecture in this. It starts out really modest, right, with the Libertas buildings. They don't really look that much different than the peasant tier buildings in really any other Anno game. But the leveled up stuff here looks pretty cool. You can see the city taking shape, which I like. Very nice. Well, yeah, as I keep saying, this is a fun game. I'm enjoying it. Enjoying discovering it, figuring it out on the fly here. This is my favorite part of the life cycle that I have with any game, is not knowing what the hell's going on, rolling up my sleeves, diving in, figuring it out, and then once you kind of figure out how the systems work, making the system do what you want, right? Exerting some control over it to express a, I don't know, creative impulse. That's fun. That's what these games are about. So it's been kind of fun to be doing this on the fly live. And if you are enjoying that part of it, let me know. This is sort of an experimental approach to one of these playthroughs. If you prefer to see something a little more polished, where I've had a chance to dive in and figure it out myself and then just sort of show you around, that's also reasonable too. So let me know that too. But any feedback, as always, is very welcome. In the meanwhile, though, I'm going to call it an episode here. And so if you are enjoying yourself, definitely make sure to show up for the next one too. We'll keep going. We've done a really good job of upgrading for now. We've got a pretty solid economic base from which we should be able to afford, for example, to build a bit more of a military. Potentially a navy that we may have started on this episode. So, stay tuned. Until then, though, have a great rest of your day, and bye-bye.